One of the first jobs I had when my family first settled in Joburg was at a pet kennel that specialized in homing pets while their owners emigrated abroad, preparing them in that quarantine period to go and join them. And it was brutal. The pets were fun, but dealing with people who were pretty stressed and trying to sort out all of the logistics of the move they were making meant that I dealt with a lot of piling on. I've had people yell at me, talk over me, demand to see the manager, tell me that I'm useless or stupid. And through it all, I found it really difficult to maintain the company's ethos of the customer is always right, keep a smile. When I got home at night, I was so mentally and physically exhausted, it was really difficult for me to buckle down to studying for exams and preparing to submit assignments because this was at a time that I was studying. Have you ever had to deal with that kind of situation? Do you work in a field or have a business that requires that you have all of these pain points on a daily basis? It's tough, right? Okay, so let's talk about that. Hi, my name is Chantel. I'm a teacher, a speaker, a coach, a mom, and my goal with this channel is to expose you to content, ideas, perspectives that you can use to help you actualize and live whatever you consider to be the best version of your life. And we've been talking about habits recently. So if you haven't yet, please make sure you check out the previous videos because today we're talking about that planning piece. Planning for your inflection points. The last video ended with the consideration of a study in which post-operative patients with an average age of 68, having just had painful hip or knee replacement surgery, had to commit to writing out their weekly goals. We saw that many of them who had not done so did not fare so well in the rehabilitation process, but those who had and who had been particularly detailed did really well. So what the researchers found from this is that the differentiator between the people who did better than others, even though they had also written out goals, is that they were planning for how they would respond to the difficult moments when they arise. For instance, the one example I gave was the gentleman who said that when he puts his feet on the floor, he's going to stand up immediately. That's when the pain hits most intensely, so if he gets that momentum and he stands up, it's too late to back out. It's just as painful to sit back down, so he's going to have to keep moving. All of the detailed plans looked like that. And what does this have to do with the example I gave you a moment ago? Well, I had to learn pretty quickly that I had to mentally prepare for some of the interactions that I would have on a daily basis. I would look at the schedule, see when pets were coming in. I would know that likely one of the clients would be quite frustrated because the kennel that they had sought to book was no longer available. Sometimes a previous tenant had extended their stay. I would have to prepare myself for the knowledge that these people are going to come in really upset and frustrated and prepare a response that would hopefully help that interaction go a little bit more easily. So for example, I am so sorry, Mrs. Furry, the kennel is not available yet. However, I've arranged for our kennel master to take your pooch for a walk and you can come and take a tour of the facilities with me. Alright, it's not ideal, but that's the type of thing we're talking about. And if you think that that's the type of thing it might be difficult to prepare for, I invite you to consider this. Think about the ways in which star athletes prepare themselves mentally. So the book, this one, uses the example of Michael Phelps and the way his coach trained him to prepare for races. He would have him visualize it and play the movie in his mind. So he would imagine what it would look like when he hit the water. And that included everything that could possibly go wrong. So he would have a really detailed movie in his brain about what a race might look like. He realized that his goggles are filling up with water that's impacting visibility. It might slow him down. He may have to respond to that before making a turn. But rehearsing that over and over in his mind gave him a sort of automaticity in responding to it. Still feeling a bit of a disconnect? Okay, how about this? Have you ever worked for an organization that has an approach to how you deal with people or customers? A school, for instance, like the ones that I have served, might have an ethos, might have a creed, something that they say or do to help students get ready to face their day. Might have them prepare for inflection points like not knowing the answer by having responses such as, "Ooh, that is incorrect. Let's try again," so that they're prepared for how they're going to respond to the disappointment of getting it wrong. From a teaching perspective, we may say, all right, so what might go wrong? What might the misunderstandings be that the student may have? Let's plan for how we'll respond to those. We do the same measure of coaching when you're talking about dealing with a parent or having an interaction of that nature. So what I would invite you to do is this. When you look at your goals for the week, making sure that those are manageable, realistic, and aligned to what it is you really want to achieve. Make that plan as detailed as possible. Things are inevitably going to happen that will get in the way of you meeting the goals that you've set. You will find that there is more traffic than you anticipated on the way to the gym, so you can't make it on time. You may wake up in the morning and find that it's too cold to go for the outdoors exercise that you had planned to. What are you going to do to respond to those challenges when they arise? Because they're not once-off situations. There will always be traffic. It will always be winter, it seems. But what are you going to do so that you don't let those things derail you from pursuing what it is you wanted to achieve? Planning for the inflection points involves just that. Remember that video on negative thinking? Yeah. Get yourself ready so that you know what you're going to do when the tough moments arise. Stand up quickly so that it's too late to sit back down, and that will help cement the success that you're seeking. Practice those responses either via visualization or by actually applying it, and you get some level of automaticity. It becomes habit. You don't have to think about it so much. Okay, friends, hope you found that helpful. Hope that you're still deep in the habit tinkering business. And in the wrap up to this series, we'll talk about how it all comes together. I'll give you the down and dirty from Charles Duhigg himself on how you can apply these steps in a much more chunked way. So previous videos have given you an insight into what habits are all about and what the golden rule in shifting them looks like. And now we'll close off by putting it all together so that hopefully you can have success making the changes you want to make. Until next time, stay safe.